The colony of Nova Haven was alive with excitement. Humans and aliens had gathered for the annual cultural festival, an event designed to promote understanding and cooperation. Banners fluttered in the warm breeze. Holographic lights painted the streets in bright colors, and music from both human and alien instruments mingled in a strange but beautiful harmony. Among the crowd was Ethan Vale, a young human engineer. His day had started early, inspecting solar panels and checking the colony's energy systems. Now, with work done, he allowed himself to enjoy the festival. He wandered past stalls selling exotic alien fruits, shimmering fabrics, and gadgets that seemed to defy gravity. Ethan chuckled as he watched a group of aliens perform a synchronized dance. Their long, flexible limbs moved with a precision that humans could never replicate. But he didn't feel intimidated. He had always been fascinated by alien cultures, and he liked to think that humans could learn from anyone. It was during a break in the festivities that the prank began. A group of young aliens, playful and mischievous, had decided to target him. They whispered among themselves, laughing softly, and nudged each other toward him. Before Ethan could react, one of the aliens, a girl with iridescent skin and large, expressive eyes, stepped forward. "Ethan Vale," she said in flawless Common, the universal language. "You are hereby our honored guest and participant in the festival marriage ceremony." Ethan blinked. He glanced around. People were laughing, clapping, and pointing. Some humans looked confused. Some aliens looked delighted. He realized quickly that this was a prank, but one designed with care and elegance. "Wait, what? I don't understand," Ethan stammered. The girl smiled mischievously. "It is simple. You will take part in a symbolic marriage, rings, vows, and public attention. It is all in good fun. No harm is meant." Before he could protest further, he found himself led to the ceremonial platform. The girl, whose name he would soon learn was Kalithar, stood gracefully, her long hair shimmering like liquid silver. Alien officials watched with amusement, and the crowd cheered. Ethan hesitated but went along, hoping to keep the situation lighthearted. After all, it was just a festival prank. No one would take it seriously. A ceremonial officiant spoke in the alien language, Kaylee translating for Ethan. The words were formal, elegant, and deeply respectful, as if every sentence carried centuries of tradition. Ethan repeated them clumsily, trying not to embarrass himself. The crowd laughed, but kindly. "Do you, Ethan Vale, accept this playful union, knowing it is part of our festival?" Kalithar asked, her eyes twinkling. Ethan cleared his throat. I accept this festival. Union." The crowd erupted into applause. Ethan forced a laugh, shaking his head. He had survived the prank and could now return to enjoying the festival. After the ceremony, the festival continued. Food, games, and performances kept the colonists busy. Ethan tried to forget the prank, telling himself that Kalithar was just a friendly alien who had joined the fun. He did not know that this moment would change his life forever. Days passed and the festival ended. Aliens returned to their homeworlds, leaving behind souvenirs and memories. Ethan returned to his engineering duties, checking life support systems and repairing damaged equipment. The prank was already fading from his thoughts, yet subtle reminders appeared. A message appeared on his console, a short string of alien symbols. He thought it was a glitch. Then another. And another. Curious, he asked Mira Lynn, a communications officer, and his friend, to help decode the messages. Mira raised an eyebrow as she examined the strings. "These symbols, they aren't just random," she said. "Someone or something is sending you deliberate signals. But they're incomplete and the language is layered with codes I don't fully recognize." Ethan frowned. Could it be Kalithar? Mira shrugged. "It's possible. Or it could be some automated system left behind. Either way, it's unusual. You might want to pay attention." Ethan nodded, though he felt uneasy. The prank had been harmless, yes, but these messages were different. They carried a tone of urgency, even worry that he could not ignore. Weeks went by. Ethan adjusted to life without the constant presence of festival excitement. Yet the messages continued, arriving at odd hours, fragmented and cryptic. He began to wonder if Kalithar had intentionally reached out. One evening, as he walked across the central plaza, he spotted a small, elegant ship landing near the colony's perimeter. Its design was unlike any human craft, smooth and glimmering with a strange energy. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be Kalithar? From the ship, Kalithar stepped down, her presence commanding yet calm. Ethan's mouth went dry. She looked different from the playful girl in the festival, older, more mature, and carrying an air of purpose and determination. "Ethan Vale," she said, her voice soft but firm. "We need to talk." Ethan opened his mouth to reply, but no words came. He felt a swirl of emotions, curiosity, apprehension, and something he could not name. Kalithar gestured to the alien officials accompanying her. "This is important. What happened at the festival? It was not just a prank for my people. It has consequences." Ethan blinked, trying to understand. "Consequences? What do you mean?" She looked at him seriously, a rare vulnerability in her alien features. "We have laws, traditions, and customs that take effect even when words are spoken lightly. The union at the festival triggered something unusual, something that cannot be ignored." Ethan's mind raced. He had thought it was a harmless joke. Now he realized that it might be far more significant than he ever imagined. Kalithar continued, "I reached out through messages because I needed your attention. I could not risk coming sooner. But now the time has come. You must understand what has happened, and why it matters." For the first time, Ethan felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. The prank, laughter, and festival cheer were behind him. A new reality had arrived, one that demanded courage, understanding, and action. As they walked together toward the colony's secure chamber, Ethan realized one thing. The festival prank had been the beginning of something extraordinary, something that would test his character, his ingenuity, and his humanity. And though he did not yet know how, he understood that life on Nova Haven, and perhaps the entire galaxy, was about to change. The sun dipped behind the mountains, casting long shadows over the colony. Ethan glanced at Kalithar and felt a mix of apprehension and resolve. Whatever lay ahead, he knew one truth: he could not ignore it. He had to face it. The prank was over. The real story was about to begin. The days after the festival passed quietly on the colony of Nova Haven. The laughter, music, and jokes of the cultural exchange had faded, leaving only the hum of colony machines and the quiet chatter of humans going about their lives. Ethan Vale had returned to his usual routine as an engineer, repairing solar arrays and maintaining the habitat domes. Life felt ordinary again, and the memory of the alien prank, the fake marriage with Kalithar, was mostly forgotten. But something felt different. It started with small things. Comms logs that shouldn't exist began appearing in Ethan's terminal. Short, garbled messages from an unknown source pinged his console at odd hours. At first he ignored them, assuming a software glitch. The messages were simple strings of alien symbols he could not read. But over time, fragments of English words began to appear. "Ethan. Need help. Trust." Ethan frowned at the screen. He had no idea who could be sending these messages. And why now, months after the prank? He mentioned it casually to his friend, Mira Lin, who worked in the colony's communications hub. Mira raised her eyebrows. "Maybe it's some kind of automated test from alien tech," she suggested. "But it's odd that it keeps using your name." Ethan shrugged. "Maybe, or it's a prank, again." But deep down he felt uneasy. There was something in the rhythm of the messages, a sense of urgency and worry that made him sit up at night staring at the ceiling. One evening, as he finished calibrating a solar panel outside the colony dome, Ethan noticed a small ship on the horizon. It was not part of the usual traffic between colonies. Its design was elegant and alien, with smooth curves that shimmered in the sunlight. Inside the ship, Kalithar was staring at the Nova Haven skyline, her eyes wide with emotion. She had returned. The next day, an official message arrived through the colony's diplomatic channel. It was from the Alien High Council, requesting Ethan's presence in a secure chamber. The message was formal, polite, and chilling all at once. Ethan walked to the chamber, the metallic floors humming beneath his boots. Inside, a group of alien officials stood waiting, their expressions neutral but their eyes sharp. And between them stood Kalithar. Ethan froze. He had expected a formal greeting, a short explanation, maybe even a laugh about the prank, but she didn't smile. "Ethan Vale," she said softly. Her voice had changed. It was deeper, calmer, and carried a weight of seriousness he had never heard before. "We need to talk." The room went quiet. The alien officials waited patiently, but Kalithar's gaze was fixed on him. Ethan swallowed. "Kaylee, you're back?" She nodded. "I didn't come alone. I came because I needed to. Her hands were resting lightly on her stomach, and suddenly Ethan's heart skipped a beat. You're pregnant? He asked, disbelief in his voice. Yes, she said simply. It's yours, Ethan. The prank. It wasn't just a joke for my people. It has consequences for us, for me, and for the child I carry. Ethan. The morning sun rose over Nova Haven, casting golden light across the colony's metal domes. The air was crisp, filled with the hum of machines and the distant calls of maintenance drones. For Ethan Vale, the day began like any other, or at least it seemed that way. That illusion shattered the moment the alien envoy ship appeared on the horizon. Its sleek silver curves glinted in the sunlight, moving with a quiet grace that only highly advanced ships could manage. Colonists paused their work, craning their necks to watch the arrival. Whispers traveled fast. It's her. Kaylee Thar has returned. Ethan's stomach twisted with a mix of dread and anticipation. He had expected messages, strange pings on his console, maybe even a brief visit. But nothing had prepared him for this. The actual return of Kaylee Thar, stepping onto human soil, her presence impossible to ignore. She looked different. Months had changed her, not just physically, but in the way she carried herself. There was a quiet strength, a calm determination, and the unmistakable evidence of life growing inside her. Her belly, rounded in a way that no human pregnancy could match, made Ethan's heart skip a beat. The alien envoy accompanying her was composed of 5 individuals, tall and lean, their skins shimmering faintly in the morning light. Their expressions were unreadable, their eyes trained on Ethan as he approached. Ethan Vale, Kaylee Thar said, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. We need to talk now. Ethan swallowed, feeling a lump in his throat. Kaylee, you're here, alone? No, she replied, her hand resting lightly on her stomach. I have my people with me. They will oversee our discussion, but this is personal, Ethan. You need to understand. The colony's council chamber had been prepared for the meeting. Alien technology hummed softly along the walls, and the usual human furnishings had been replaced with sleek alien panels that glowed faintly. It was a space designed for diplomacy, and possibly for confrontation. As Ethan stepped inside, Kaylee Thar approached him first. Her eyes, deep and expressive, locked onto his. There was no playfulness here, no teasing prank. This was serious. This was real. The prank? It was a test of cultural understanding, Kaylee Thar began. For my people, vows are not just words. Even when taken lightly, they carry consequences. When we returned to our homeworld, the bond activated in a way we did not anticipate. The child I carry is proof, Ethan froze. You mean? The child is mine? Kaylee Thar nodded. Yes, I was afraid to tell you. Afraid of how you would react. But it is true. The alien officials stepped forward, their posture formal. One of them, taller than the rest, spoke in their native language. Kaylee Thar translated with precision. The High Council has recognized the bond. They understand it was unintended, but their laws are clear. The human father must be present and accept responsibility. The child's future depends on it. Ethan felt a whirlwind of emotions: shock, disbelief, fear, and, unexpectedly, pride. Pride at the life that had been created, even if by accident. Pride that this child represented a bridge between human and alien worlds. I don't know what to say, Ethan admitted. I never imagined this would happen. It was a joke. Kaylee Thar stepped closer, placing a gentle hand on his arm. It was never just a joke for me, Ethan. I respected you then, and I respect you now. The child needs both of us. Her words struck him deeply. The prank that had once seemed harmless was now something far bigger than either of them. Something that could affect the colony, the aliens, and even the galaxy. Over the next few hours, the council debated. Human leaders, cautious but fair, listened carefully. Alien delegates, proud and disciplined, demanded clarity. Both sides recognized the importance of this child, not just as a life, but as a symbol of unity. Outside, the colony buzzed with curiosity and concern. Children pressed against viewing panels, colonists whispered speculations, and security personnel kept a watchful eye. Ethan could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. He had laughed at a joke months ago. Now, he stood on the precipice of a life-altering decision. Kaylee Thar spoke again, her voice soft but firm. Ethan, I am not asking you to make a choice lightly. But know this, the child is already part of this world. If you reject it, you reject a chance to shape something new, something that could unite our people. He looked at her, truly looked at her, and saw the honesty and courage in her eyes. He thought of the months he had spent avoiding the prank in memory, only to realize that life had moved forward without waiting for his consent. He had a duty, an opportunity to rise to the occasion. I will not abandon the child, Ethan said finally. I don't know everything, and I'm not sure I understand it all. But I will try. I will learn, and I will stand by you and the baby. Kalithar's expression softened, and a faint smile touched her lips. Then we have a beginning, she said. Not an easy path. Not a simple one, but a beginning. As the meeting concluded, Ethan realized the gravity of what lay ahead. The child was not just a life to protect. The child represented a bridge between humans and aliens, between cultures that had long been cautious of each other. And in that bridge, he saw hope. That night, Ethan walked outside the colony dome, staring at the stars. He thought about the challenges they would face: alien customs, skeptical colonists, political debates, and the unknown dangers that might lie ahead. But he also thought about the wonder of it all, the miracle of life, the courage of Kalithar, and the possibility that humans, underestimated and often dismissed, could rise to meet challenges that no one else could. A ping sounded from his comm device, faint but insistent. He opened the message. The text was short, urgent, and unfamiliar. Ethan, not all are pleased. Watch the shadows. Trust only Kaylee. Ethan's heart raced. Even as the colony slept, there were forces at work he could not see. Forces that might test his courage, his ingenuity, and his resolve. He looked at Kalithar, sleeping safely in her quarters, unaware of the warning. He clenched his fists, a mix of determination and protectiveness swelling inside him. Whatever came next, he would face it. He had to, because the prank was over. The reality was here, and a new life depended on him. For the first time, Ethan felt the true weight and wonder of being human. Fragile, yes, but also strong, creative, loyal, and capable of rising to challenges that even the stars could not ignore. And somewhere in the distance, beyond the colony and the horizon, Ethan sensed that this was only the beginning of a story that would stretch across worlds. A story where humans might finally be seen for what they truly were. Not simple, not weak, but extraordinary in ways the galaxy had never expected. The colony of Nova Haven had never felt so tense. Word of Kalithar's return spread like wildfire. Children whispered her name in the corridors. Colonists stared in curiosity or confusion, and a few security officers moved cautiously, scanning the skies for unknown ships. For Ethan Vale, each morning now began with a growing sense of responsibility. He spent hours in the habitat domes, assisting Kalithar as she adjusted to life on the human colony. Even simple tasks were complicated. Alien biology was different. She required unique nutrients. Her movements were careful to avoid strain, and the growing child inside her added a new layer of complexity. Yet, through it all, Kalithar remained calm. She laughed softly at Ethan's clumsy attempts to prepare alien foods, and she listened patiently as he explained human technology and colony routines. Despite the tension outside, a bond began forming between them. Not romance, as in stories of old, but trust, respect, and shared purpose. Still, peace was fragile. The alien officials stationed on the colony watched every interaction, their eyes sharp and unblinking. They whispered among themselves in Kalithar's language, occasionally glancing toward Ethan with subtle expressions that hinted at doubt. Some of them believed humans could not possibly care for an alien child. Others worried that the child would upset the delicate balance between species. Human leaders were equally concerned. The Council of Nova Haven called meetings to discuss protocol and law. While they acknowledged that Kalithar's bond with Ethan was accidental, some humans argued that he might be exploited or pressured. Others wondered how the child's birth might affect political relations with alien worlds. In one tense meeting, Ethan tried to defend himself. I didn't plan this, he said, standing tall despite the scrutiny. But I won't abandon Kaylee or the child. That's not who I am. Humans may be underestimated, yes, but we face challenges head-on. We adapt. And we protect what matters. Some council members nodded, recognizing the truth in his words. Others remained skeptical, unconvinced that one human could handle the weight of responsibility placed upon him. Outside the council chambers, life continued, but unease lingered. Groups of colonists speculated about the alien customs. Some whispered that Kalithar's pregnancy might be dangerous. Others feared political repercussions if the child were seen as a symbol of interspecies weakness or defiance. Amid all this, Ethan found himself growing protective, not just of Kaylee, but of the child he had never expected to care for. Every day he learned more about her needs, her culture, and the ways humans and aliens could cooperate. He discovered that patience, communication, and respect could bridge divides that seemed impossible. One afternoon, a sudden alert shook the colony. Alien security drones reported unusual activity outside the perimeter. Scouts had spotted a small vessel. The sun rose slowly over Nova Haven, painting the colony in pale gold and silver. Despite the calm appearance, tension had reached its peak. Scouts had confirmed that the alien purists were moving closer, using the mountains and valleys as cover. They had watched, waited, and now they were preparing to strike. Ethan Vale stood on the observation deck beside Kalithar, his jaw tight and eyes sharp. He had spent days preparing defenses, training security teams, and coordinating with Kalithar's alien escorts. But the real test was about to come, an attack, direct and unpredictable, that would decide the fate of Kaylee and their unborn child. "They are moving faster than expected," one of the human security officers reported. "If they reach the perimeter, we'll have less than 15 minutes to respond." Ethan nodded. "Everyone to their stations. Remember, we fight to protect life, not just walls. Watch each other's backs." Kalithar rested a hand on her stomach, her eyes steady. "Ethan, stay calm. I know you can do this." He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the responsibility pressing on his shoulders. He had faced challenges before, but none like this. This was not a technical problem to solve, it was a fight for survival. The alien purists emerged from the shadows of the mountains like wraiths, moving silently and swiftly. Their ships were smaller than Kalithar's envoy, fast and armed with energy weapons unfamiliar to humans. But Ethan had anticipated this. He had spent the night configuring the colony's automated defenses, converting solar panels into makeshift shields, and programming drones for strategic support. When the first group of attackers approached the perimeter, Ethan gave the command. Energy barriers hummed to life, forming glowing walls that stretched across the colony grounds. Drones took flight, sending blinding lights and scanning the enemy movements. The purists faltered, surprised at the humans' preparedness. They expected disorganization, hesitation, and weakness. But Ethan's ingenuity turned the tide immediately. Kalithar's alien escorts joined the defense, using non-lethal but effective techniques to disarm and redirect attackers. Humans and aliens fought side by side, a rare sight of unity and cooperation. Ethan moved with calculated precision, using tools and devices he had adapted from colony systems to disable enemy weapons. He didn't rely on brute strength, he relied on cleverness, creativity, and courage. Every step he took was a demonstration of what humans could accomplish when underestimated. Despite the chaos, Ethan kept one priority in mind: Kalithar and the child. He ensured her safety first, positioning her behind reinforced barriers and within the protective circle of alien guards. Every time she looked at him, her eyes carried trust, and that trust strengthened his resolve. Hours passed like minutes. The alien purists, frustrated and confused by the humans' coordination, attempted more aggressive maneuvers. They tried to bypass the energy barriers and target the colony's central dome, where Kalithar rested. Ethan reacted quickly. Using a combination of drones, manual controls, and improvised energy pulses, he redirected their attacks. Each move was precise, deliberate, and effective. He was not a soldier, but in that moment his human ingenuity made him one of the most formidable defenders on the field. The tide began to turn. The alien purists had underestimated human adaptability, problem-solving, and courage under pressure. For every attack they launched, Ethan and the combined defenders found a counter, a strategy, a way to survive. At one point, a ship broke through the perimeter defenses, heading directly toward Kalithar's safe zone. Ethan acted instantly. Using a jetpack borrowed from the colony's research lab, he flew to intercept the ship. With rapid thinking, he improvised a magnetic pulse device that disabled its engines, forcing it to crash harmlessly into a nearby valley. The purists hesitated, realizing their aggression was being countered at every turn. Fear and confusion replaced their confidence. They had assumed that humans were fragile, but they were learning a harsh lesson. Humans could rise to any challenge. Finally, the alien purists, seeing their mission failing, retreated. Their ships vanished into the mountains, leaving the colony intact. Humans and aliens alike exhaled, relief washing over the defenders. The colony had survived. Kalithar was safe, and so was the child growing within her. Ethan descended from the observation deck, exhausted but triumphant. He approached Kalithar, who was watching the horizon where the purists had disappeared. "You did it," she said softly, her hand resting on her stomach. "We did it," Ethan shook his head, smiling wearily. "No, you helped too. And everyone else. Humans, aliens. Together." Kalithar looked at him with admiration and warmth. "You've shown them what humans are capable of, Ethan. Courage, loyalty, and ingenuity. That is what makes your species remarkable." For a long moment, Ethan allowed himself to absorb the praise. He had always underestimated himself in many ways. He had thought of humans as ordinary, fragile, and simple, compared to advanced alien civilizations. But in that moment, he understood the truth. Humans were extraordinary not because of technology alone, but because of heart, intelligence, and determination. The colony celebrated cautiously. Injuries were treated, damages repaired, and reports sent to both human and alien authorities. But among the celebration, a quiet sense of awe lingered. The defenders, led by a human who had laughed at a prank months ago, had shown the galaxy that humans could rise to any challenge. As night fell over Nova Haven, Ethan stood on the observation deck once more, Kalithar beside him. The stars stretched endlessly above, bright and full of promise. "We survived," Ethan said quietly, "and we'll survive whatever comes next. Together." Kalithar nodded, a small smile on her lips. "Yes, together, and our child. Our child will be proof that humans and aliens can create something remarkable, a new hope for our worlds." Ethan felt a surge of pride, not just for himself but for humanity. They had been underestimated, dismissed, and overlooked for centuries across the galaxy. Yet here they were, humans standing strong, protecting life, facing danger, and proving their worth. And in the quiet that followed, Ethan realized something even more powerful. The real strength of humans was not just in surviving, but in their ability to rise, adapt, and protect what truly mattered. The colony lights shimmered softly below. The stars twinkled above, and Ethan knew that the story was far from over. The next challenges would come, bigger and harder perhaps, but he was ready. Humans had proven themselves once, and they would do it again, because humanity's heart, courage, and ingenuity could not be stopped. And for Kalithar, for the child, and for the galaxy, Ethan would fight every day to prove it. Weeks had passed since the attack by the alien purists. The colony of Nova Haven slowly returned to its routine, though the memory of danger lingered in the minds of all who had fought. For Ethan Vale, life had changed completely. He no longer measured days by work on solar arrays or repairs to habitat domes. Now every moment was marked by the well-being of Kalithar and the child she carried. The colony had become a hub of curiosity and hope. Scientists studied Kalithar's unique biology carefully but respectfully. Children peered at her from a distance, fascinated by her alien features, while adults debated the meaning of her child, a human-alien hybrid, the first of its kind in recorded history. Ethan walked alongside Kalithar in the central plaza. Her hand rested gently on her stomach as she moved with care. "You've changed everything," he said softly. "Not just for me, but for everyone here. For humans, for your people, for the child." Kalithar smiled, a small, proud curve of her lips. "It is not just me. It is both of us. And it is our child. We have a chance to create something new. A future where humans and aliens can work together side by side." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. The prank that had started everything seemed almost like a dream now. A distant memory of laughter that had led to something extraordinary. The council had convened once more, bringing together human and alien leaders. For the first time, they spoke not of law, politics, or fear, but of possibility. The child represented unity, proof that species could cooperate in ways no one had imagined. The alien delegates who had once doubted Ethan now looked at him with respect. He was no longer just the human who had laughed at a prank. He was a man who had protected life, faced danger and shown courage under impossible circumstances. "You have proven," one delegate said formally, "that humanity is more than we imagined. They possess heart, creativity, and loyalty that cannot be ignored. This child will be a symbol of our potential together." Ethan felt a flush of pride. Humans had always been underestimated in the galaxy, dismissed as fragile, simple, or unremarkable. Yet here he was, standing beside Kalethar, knowing that his species had just earned recognition in a way no weapon or technology could achieve. As the days passed, Kalethar's pregnancy advanced. Ethan learned more than ever about alien customs, biology, and the ways they nurtured life. He assisted in preparations for the birth, working alongside scientists and alien midwives, ensuring that Kalethar was safe and cared for. Evenings were quiet and peaceful. The two of them often walked under the twin moons, talking about the worlds they had visited, the challenges they had faced, and the dreams they held for the future. "I wonder," Kalethar said one night, her eyes reflecting the silver light, "what the child will be like."